CNN is reporting that he did an interview inside of The Atlantic where he says that he controls the United States of America and the world. I want to see what that is. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock, y'all.
President Trump says during his second term, he runs the country and the world. That is from his latest interview out just minutes ago, marking his 100 days in office. He sat down with a team from The Atlantic in the Oval Office for their cover story. Part of that team was editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg. You might remember him as the guy mistakenly added to a group chat about military plans in Yemen. He was invited on purpose for this interview. When the Signal group chat came up, Trump told The Atlantic reporters that he said to his staff, quote, "Maybe don't use Signal, okay?" Joining me now to talk about this is Michael Scherer, staff writer at The Atlantic, one of the journalists behind this latest interview. Michael, thanks for being here with us this morning. What was the vibe?
Thanks for having me on.
Trump was very annoyed with the Signal chat story. So let's get that out of the way. How was it behind closed doors?
Well, this story was a long journey. We've been reporting it for a couple months. We interviewed him in March by phone after he publicly denounced me and my reporting colleague, Ashley Parker, as being lunatic leftists and liars. But then when we called him, he took our call. We had a perfectly fine, gracious interview. Obviously, after that, the Signalgate thing happened. He attacked The Atlantic ruthlessly, attacked my boss, Jeffrey Goldberg, ruthlessly. By the end, though, and this is just last week, he was in a far more conciliatory mood. You know, the tone of that exchange was very respectful. He was, you know, acknowledged the success of the Signalgate story, wasn't doing what he did in the days afterwards, which was to deny anything improper had happened. You know, he mentioned to us, for instance, that Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, was getting his act together, and he'd had a talk with him. He admitted that the national security advisor had gone through a difficult time as well.
What this article does in a lot of ways is give us a sense of his thinking when he was in quote-unquote political exile after he lost. And he describes his first term. He's like, look, the first time I had two things to do, run the country and survive. And he said, I had all these crooked guys. This time around, he's really feeling like he is in charge. Can you talk about how that thinking is infusing his approach?
Yeah, I mean, if you remember back during the campaign, Democrats would argue that there would be no boundaries on a second Trump term. It would be very different than the first. And it turns out they may have even been understating it. You know, Trump overcame something that really no president, no leader has overcome before. If you go back to the days after January 6th, where you have multiple Republicans voting to convict him in the Senate, you have, you know, most of the party, corporate America cutting him off, social networks cutting him off. He was able to come back to power. And I think that experience, which is really what we tried to explore in this story, informs the boldness with which he is governing now. He really doesn't see many boundaries to going after people he perceived to be his enemies, even if he's doing things to them that he objected when government did to his allies before. Yeah. He feels fine doing it now. I mean, his economic policies obviously are very disruptive and you know, of questionable effectiveness. And that comment about running the world, I mean, he truly does believe that he has enormous leverage at this point, not only within the country, over the other parts of government, but over, you know, a number of conflicts elsewhere in the world. I mean, at times during that interview last week, he was talking to us about intervening in a negotiation over a dam being built in Ethiopia and continued disputes in Serbia. You know, he's a deal maker all the way through. I think the difference is in the first weeks and months of his first term, he felt a little bit underwater. He didn't have the people in place. He didn't really understand the town. He didn't understand how the government works. He feels like he has a much better understanding now.
He's also
Trump is right. He does run the United States of America and he runs the world, especially considering the considerable amount of power that comes along with controlling all three branches of government, because you can actually get stuff done. Every president runs the world. Every president runs the world. Trump is the only person that has got the balls to actually say it. The thing that Obama, what makes him appealing to liberals and to women, is that Obama has a form of perceived humility, right? He is always sold himself as, now imagine if I did it. It would have been difficult, you know? Obama was always able to sell humility. Biden was able to sell humility. Clinton, to an extent, was able to sell humility. Republicans tend to be a lot more masculine in their approach to what they believe the country is supposed to look like. So I like to say that Democrats are humble champions. Republicans are overt, confident champions. Republicans are Floyd Mayweather. You see what I'm saying? Floyd would talk it and he would tell you the uncomfortable truth, but he would actually back it up. Democrats are more like Manny Pacquiao. That's the best way to explain it. Manny Pacquiao always displayed a level of humility, but at the same time, he knew that when he was a champion, he was the dominant figure in the sport. Floyd Mayweather told you, no. Listen, let's be clear. I am the man. And that's the difference, is that people don't like it when you tell them that you're the man. They just want you to be it so that they can feel like they have some level of control over your success, because humility is always a better selling point than confidence, until confident came back into style through masculinity. And so what you see through Trump a lot of times is he's telling you the uncomfortable truth. What the Biden administration would do, what the Obama administration was doing, was saying, no. We love everybody. Trust me, we love everybody. Meanwhile, on the back end, guess what he was doing? He was deporting them. They was calling him the deporter in chief. He was getting them kids up out of there. The kids in cages was largely an Obama thing. Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
What's going on?
Not bad. This is Burrell and Burrell Delivery.
Okay. Okay. All right, let me make sure that she's there so that you can get the delivery. All right, bye. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me a second.
Sorry, Mr. Call. Sorry, Mr. Call.
Oh my goodness. This is why you have assistants, to be able to handle this type of stuff so that you're not dealing with it and you're not suffering. All right, so she should have it. She there. So she there to get the delivery. Anyways, but it's more of an overt thing. And so because Trump is willing to say it out loud to the people and say, hey, listen, I run the world. But Obama and them is just basically saying, no. This is a democratic process. What Obama is doing is running the world with one hand by having y'all distracted with the other one. What Trump is saying is, hey, come here, bring the camera around here and let me show you what's really happening around here. And this is what they're doing with the Department of Government Efficiency to uproot all of this fraud. And this is what they was doing over there in Iraq. And this is what they got over here in Sesame Street. And this is where y'all money is going. Trump is just going to tell you the direct thing. They're both running it the same way. The difference is one of them is transparent and the other one is just selling you on a talking point.
Also surrounded by people who possibly understand him better. You were writing about the fact that some of his White House advisors have learned to, their approach is follow ideas when he's...
No, that's not food. That is a big delivery. That is a $20,000 delivery that is being delivered to one of the properties, all right? So, no, we're not getting food delivered. We're getting big things delivered.
Something twice. Can you give us examples or give a sense of what this means? He sounds way more in charge, and the people, everyone says the people around him acquiesce a little more, but like, how is it playing out?
Yeah, acquiesce is one way of describing it. I think I would say, the people around him don't feel like they have to manage him or prevent him from doing what he wants to do. They advise him. they sometimes tell him, there's downsides to this, and they try and discourage him from doing things. But it's really different from the first term, where you had a number of chiefs of staff who either
Tasha,
were
you said you give it to you straight, no chaser. I don't believe you, Tasha. I don't believe you, Tasha. Everybody say they want it straight, no chaser, until you pouring that liquor in their mouth. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think that most people would prefer for you to act like everything is cool and to make you feel better about it. It's the same thing with relationships, Tasha. It's the same thing with relationships. Every time that a woman has told me, no, I just want you to be real with me. No, I want to know everything that's on your mind. And you be like, all right, cool. Here's a little bit of it. They be like, oh my God, that is so much to deal with. I'm falling out. And then you learn a little bit more each time. And so the thing that you got to do is you just got to go ahead and tell them what they need to hear for them to get done what they need to do. Because objectively speaking, most people don't want it real. They do not want it real. Most people do not want it straight. They be ready to cry. Oh, I'm crashing out. I can't do it. Every single time. Women are cool. Let me tell you something. People are cool with you telling it to them straight when they don't know you. When they don't know you, like if you just now getting introduced to them, listen, man, I ain't checking for you. I ain't got no time for these hoes in the street. Listen, this ain't even what it is. Listen, if you coming over here, you're going to have to understand that you here for the moment. You're not here for a long time. You here for a good time. Okay, that's so cute. See that? I got so much respect for him. He just straight up real. He just telling me what it is. Until they start getting emotionally connected. Then they get emotionally connected. You not checking for me. I told you was here for a short time, not a long time. Oh my God, you're just discarding me. Fellas, am I off? Am I off? That's why you got to make them sign the paperwork when they get in. You got to make them sign the paper because they going to forget that they signed the paper. Hey, listen. Listen. I'm going to need you to go ahead on your way. See this? Make sure you abide by it. I don't want to have to come after you and garnish your wages, okay? All right, baby girl. Have a nice day.
outwardly refusing or quietly refusing to carry out orders, or maneuvering behind the scenes to get him to change his mind. That's not the mood right now. That line about
You
if he
want it
says
straight,
something
Mika?
twice, we know to do
Okay,
it,
all
really
right.
comes out of the fact that he says a
All
lot of
right.
things. He has a lot of ideas. He throws things around a lot. That came up when they were discussing what to do with the Kennedy Center during the
Mig, oh yeah, you're not there on Tuesday nights. Dang, I wish you was there on a Tuesday night. We're gonna talk about it on After Hours tonight.
transition. He had the idea after reading a story that he wanted to be chairman of the Kennedy Center. He didn't get to go to the premier performing arts institution in America the first term because he was shunned by artists, and he decided he wanted to do it all himself this time, and they figured out how to make
I
that
did.
happen.
I told Jess that.
Well, Michael, thanks so much for talking with us. There's a lot of great stuff in this story, including around that question about whether or not he wants to run for.
Gigi says, I guess you speak for the majority of women. I want to know what's going on. I'm tired of the mask that Democrats wear. All right. All right. That's what you want? That's what you want to know? Well, guess what, Gigi? I do speak for the majority of women. You know how I know it's true? You know how I know that what you just said right there is not true, Gigi? I'm going to tell you how I know it's not true. All right. The reason that I know it's not true is because 92% of all black women decided that they want to vote for Kamala Harris, even though they know that they plant them in their faces. If it's not true, how do you, if it's not true, and we all know that Democrats are playing in your faces, we know that Republicans and Democrats both play in our faces. The difference is we actually want to know the truth. It's one side that actually want to know the truth. It's the other side that tell you what you want to hear. Why is it 92% of women voting for the ones that are actually playing in your faces versus the ones that's telling you the truth? Nope. Take yourself out of it, Gigi. You said speaking for the majority, not individuals, not anomalies, not people that come through that actually can handle the truth. You said the majority. I'm speaking for the majority, not the minority, not the ones that are educated, not the ones that actually want to know the truth, not the ones that can occasionally handle the truth. Why is it that the majority of women, is majority of all women, yet let alone black women, voted for the Democrat Party in mass, even though they know that they're playing in their faces? Why did they do it? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that I'm wrong. Tell me I'm off. The numbers say that I'm right. The stats say that I'm right.